What's up, everyone, and welcome back. And in this video, I am going to give you 7 things to know for HBO Max's A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, or the Hedge Knight, or whatever they decide to call it. A Kingsguard of things to know, if you will, for this show that should be coming out in 2025. It's a show that I'm very, very excited for. Just want to give you a heads up here. There will be some spoilers. Overall, A Song of Ice and Fire spoilers. And then there's going to be some House of the Dragon spoilers as well. So just to make you guys aware of that now, if that kind of thing doesn't scare you, then keep walking here into the abyss as we go into number 1. Okay, so where can we find the Hedge Knight? If we want to actually read the source material, where can we draw that knowledge and that information from? Well, guess what? I got it here for you. Okay. Legends. Hopefully you don't got a goofy glare on here and not look like an idiot trying to get this leveled up. Yeah. Too late for that. I already look like an idiot. Okay. Legends, the anthology here, edited by Robert Silverberg. Okay. Now this is where you can find the Hedge Knight, which is the first of 3 Tale of Dunk and Egg stories, which is commonly what these are all known as, the Tales of Dunk and Egg. This is where number 1 is. This is where the Hedge Knight is. This is what we're going to see in the first season of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. You can find it in the Legends, the anthology. Once again, here, I'll show it. There you go. They might have a standalone piece out now that this is, George has become a big shot. I don't even see George's name here on the front of this this book, which is kind of funny. This is before Dance of the Dragons came out, and it's before the, Game of Thrones came to HBO, so I guess it's not terribly surprising. But again, there's 3 out now. It's the sword, or the Hedge Knight, the Sworn Sword, and then the Mystery Knight. There's 3 total out. He does want to write more. He wants to finish the Tales of Dunk and Egg. He's even alluded to this most recently, I think on his October 10th blog post that I referenced back on a community page. So there are more to come. Will we ever see them? I don't know. It's about an 80-page read. You can find it here starting on page 450 in this anthology. Once again, go out, check out your local bookstore, Amazon. You got plenty of time to go and consume this before the show comes to HBO. I know he was saying in his blog post that he's hoping that it comes out sometime, I think in an early part of 2025 springtime. So let's hope that that's the case. Doesn't seem like if that is it, we don't have to wait terribly long. But I just wanted to give you guys just where you can find the source material for the story that we're going to see on HBO. Okay, continuing here with number 1, and just a brief description of who these people are, who are these main protagonists. This right here is one of our leads. This is Sir Duncan Natal. He is, hey, guess what? A Hedge Knight. How about that? What's a Hedge Knight versus a Landed Knight? Those are the 2 things you hear real quickly. A Hedge Knight essentially is someone that, as you can probably figure out, sleeps under a hedge, right? They are a vagabond knight, if you will, traveling from place to place, trying to seek employment from maybe a landed knight, maybe from, lords, ladies, they're basically just trying to gain employment, right? I'm a hired sword here. I can do work for you. In return, I'm hoping to maybe get a roof over my head and like a lamprey pie. I don't know, maybe a flagon or 2 or a tankard of ale every once in a while. Is that too much to ask for? Our buddy Dunk the Tall here, he is a Hedge Knight. He is a knight. And he's just trying to get his name out there, right? We can all relate to that, right? Okay, so that's who he is. Real quick, what's a Landed Knight? A Landed Knight's basically someone like a Clegane, if we're looking at Game of Thrones. They're not a lord, okay, but they do have a castle, they do have a keep, they do have sworn swords and a household guard that roll up to them. They do have income. They're a sense of more minor nobility, right? A guy like Dunk, maybe that's something that he would aspire to be one day, but in order to get that, he's going to have to gain a lot of favor from some important people out there. All right, so we know who Dunk is now. The question is, who the hell is Egg? Well, as you can probably imagine, Egg is not on his young buck's birth certificate. Egg is short for something. That is that little man right there, right next to the tall guy on the horse. That would be Dunk. The little guy, Egg, he has a name that maybe we may be a little more familiar with. That's right. So that little lad that was on the last screen right there has taken a mega evolution into the kingly, regal looking man that's on our screen right now. Yes, that would be Aegon V Targaryen. So yes, Egg is short for Aegon, a name that we've heard quite a few times here in the Game of Thrones universe. And yes, this man does eventually go on to be Aegon V Targaryen, Lord Protector of the Seven Kingdoms, yada, 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 titles. All right, little sidebar here on Aegon, just real quick, and this is where I kind of talk about the whole spoilery thing. So last chance to find the exit door here before this bitch burns to the ground. I just want to tell you a little bit about his nickname. His name's nickname, not Nicknom. His nickname is Aegon the Unlikely. Well, why is it the Unlikely? Well, the short answer is that he is the fourth son of a fourth son, making his ascension to the Iron Throne incredibly unlikely. Okay, we like to show our work here on this channel, so let me just show you here real quick. Paint. Simple editing, right? I'm not a wizard at this stuff, guys. The point is the message here, okay? Daeron the Second Targaryen. We're gonna get into him in a minute here, but he is the king during this time frame. Daeron the Good, okay? Daeron's fourth son will be Maekar. Maekar is going to be a big player in this story. More on Maekar later, okay? So there's the fourth son. Maekar's fourth son would be Aegon or Egg, whatever you want to call him. Okay, so again, Aegon the Unlikely comes from him being the fourth son of a fourth son. So pretty incredible stuff that he gets there to the Iron Throne one day. Okay, so number 2, when does this story take place here on the A Song of Ice and Fire timeline? We love looking at timelines here on this channel. We love looking at maps. You guys know already here that I'm not a wizard with editing, okay? And this beautiful timeline that I crafted here via paint is quite possibly the ugliest thing that you'll ever lay your eyeballs on. But bear with me here, because when it comes down to it, it's got some important stuff on it, I think, to just, stress this point here to provide a little bit of clarity about when the story takes place. If we have one right here, whenever Aegon, Visenya, and Rhaenys are taking over most of the Seven Kingdoms, and about 300 years later, when A Game of Thrones starts, about right around here. See that there, 209 AC? Hey, that's where this story is going to take place. About 90 years before the event of Game of Thrones. We're getting a little bit closer there. We're about 170 years away from it in House of the Dragon. So we're getting closer. And then if you go all the way here to 130 to 132 AC, that is when the dance takes place. And that's about 80 years before what we're about to watch in A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Okay, so the Hedge Knight's kind of wedged in between House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones, okay? Again, about 80 years after the dance and about 90 years before Game of Thrones. It's in this really cool, and we'll get more into like why this time frame is in this period here is really unique and interesting. We're 15 years after the Blackfire Rebellion. I'm going to try to not go too far into the weeds here before I need a good old dragon tow truck here to pull my ass on out of there, because sometimes I get in the weeds. But the Blackfire Rebellion is really, really fun. Civil War, a Targaryen civil war again, kind of, if you will. I'm very selfishly hoping that one day we get that on HBO Max. I fear that we will never see it on HBO Max because I think that it may just be too similar to House of the Dragon and the Dance of the Dragons. But there are a ton of cool characters there. So we're about 15 years removed from that. There are going to be a lot of ripple effect from everything that happened in that Civil War that starts to like make its way over there to the Tale of Dunk and Egg. So that's a really cool period in time here. As you can see, I'm already getting into the weeds. I'm hitting the button right now for the dragon tow truck driver to pull me out of here. Emergency extraction. Wonder if, by the way, that again, we always talk about the crown needs more coin. Okay, what's Littlefinger doing? What's Tyrion doing? What's Bees? What are all these master of coins doing whenever like the crown is just desperate for like taxing like the most ridiculous shit? Why not put these dragons to the test here? Well, I mean, a dragon tow truck service is without a doubt a great idea. I think that could have helped a lot of people. I could have got the crown there out of a lot of debt. Again, we're going to end this segment here and go on to number 3. All right, guys, number 3. Boy, that's a lot of dragons there in that photo, huh? Well, guess what? You're not going to see any in this show. Ton of dragons in House of the Dragon. I can't get their names right. Tyraxes, Meraxes, Caraxes, Baraxes, Saraxes. Don't got to worry about that here, okay? Where we have the most dragons in any one period of time here in the Seven Kingdoms during House of the Dragon, and we get 3 in Game of Thrones. We got none in A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. The dragons are extinct. They go extinct during Aegon III's time as king. That's why they call him Aegon the Dragon's Bane. The dragons for right now are gone. Now there's eggs spread out, again, at Dragonstone or Summerhall or, across the Narrow Sea, wherever. There's still those dragon eggs that exist, but we don't have any living dragons that are going to take place during this time frame, which I'm okay with. Okay, again, like the story, the lore of A Song of Ice and Fire is strong on its own merit. We don't need dragons always to like be this crutch or to be this steroid that's going to give us this like performance enhancing boost to, you know, wow the audience. Now, again, can dragons do cool shit? You know, we've seen some cool dragon cinematics on a Game of Thrones, a House of Dragon. 100%, there's no doubt about it. But you think of some of the best moments of a Game of Thrones, and I almost said House of the Dragon here. I'm not going to do that because I don't think House of the Dragon has been able to copy this. But some of those moments that we just get like the palace intrigue in Game of Thrones, the plotting, the backstabbing, all the scheming, a lot of that's done with, you know, there's no dragons at those like war council tables or the small council. Right? We don't see dragons there. This show can be good without dragons, right? And we're getting a heavy, heavy dose of it right now in House of the Dragon. You get a little smattering of it in Game of Thrones because Dany has 3 dragons, but they're isolated. They're off with Dany, right? They don't come to Westeros until the last couple seasons. So again, we're going to see a story now set in Westeros during the events of A Song of Ice and Fire where we don't have to worry about dragons because it almost seems like a cheat sometimes, right? Like, oh shit, let's Aemon kind of does it a lot. Let's hit the dragon button. Let's hit the Vhagar button. Boom, we're there. All right, everyone's scared, everyone's running, and the whole town is now on fire. We're not going to have that here. Again, they're extinct right now. They do not have a place in the Seven Kingdoms. And I think for the sake of this story, I think that's a really good thing. Okay, guys, number 4. Wait, we're back on a shitty timeline again? Yeah, just for a brief second, I'm bringing up my old handy dandy timeline here. I just want us to go back. Take a look right here. 187 AC. Dorne bends the knee, ladies and gentlemen, and they are now officially a part of the Seven Kingdoms. Yes, Dorne has officially bent the knee to the Iron Throne, so there is no longer that weird moment when you say the Seven Kingdoms, but it's actually 6 kingdoms because Dorne's not a part of the Seven Kingdoms, so why are we including them in this title? We don't have to worry about that anymore. All right. Dorne has sworn fealty to the Iron Throne in 187 AC. This was, believe it or not, guys, not done through conquest, but through a marriage pact. Without getting into the weeds, because these are separate videos. When I say not getting the weeds, I try to not go too far off course because I can legitimately, these are separate videos. I don't want to cram it in and not do it justice by explaining the full story. But we have in front of us here the young blonde gentleman there. That would be Daeron, the second Targaryen, the king during the time frame of the Night of Seven Kingdoms. And the gentleman to his right would be Prince Maron Martell, who is the ruling prince of Dorne. Again, Dorne bent the knee not through conquest, but through a marriage pact. Daeron, many years before that, was betrothed to Miria Martell, which is Maron's sister, to make good for all of the crazy shit that happened with Daeron, the first Targaryen, Daeron the Daring. Okay, and that's all I'm going to say about him for right now. Okay, that dude is a separate video, okay? But to bring Dorne into the fold, Daeron II says to Maron, hey, I have a younger sister. Her name's Daenerys. How about you marry my sister? Maron says, hey, sure, why not? I'll marry your sister. Well, whenever they get married in King's Landing, they then go and swear their vows to the Iron Throne, and Dorne has now officially joined the Seven Kingdoms, okay? So it's through marriage. Once again, Daeron married Maron's sister. Maron married Daeron's sister, okay? So that's how things got done there, okay? They went a very peaceful way to getting Dorne to join the Seven Kingdoms. Why is this important for this story? I brought up briefly before the Blackfire Rebellion. You start to see a lot of stuff happen after Dorne joins the Seven Kingdoms. Daeron's not exactly like a man of combat. He's more a man of education and learning, right? Look at the way that he was able to solve a problem that plagued his family for going on 200 years. No one could get Dorne to bend the knee to the Iron Throne. Daeron found a way, okay? So now all of a sudden you start to see Dornish men and women at the court, right? In King's Landing, right? We're starting to see a Dornish influence. So now you're seeing all these people that have been here for centuries that are like, who are these foreigners? Who are these outsiders? Why are they like holding favor now with the king? Why do they get to call themselves princes and princesses? Why, again, all these crazy, there's also like stuff there with taxes. I'm not going to talk about taxes in this video. Okay. Like let's come on. We try to escape that stuff when we come here. But I guess they got some kind of a tax cut. I'm seeing way too many political ads right now, people, to start talking about that stuff. Again, people start getting mad about that. Okay. we then see, you know, everything that happens with the Blackfire Rebellion, et cetera, et cetera. So look, it's important to bring up because, again, it's just Dorne joining the Seven Kingdoms and now holding favor at court makes a lot of people mad. Okay, so I just wanted to let you guys know that at this present time here, when we watch A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, Dorne has officially joined the Peace of the Iron Throne. So I just wanted to throw out that special little benchmark there for you guys. All right, number 5. No large battles here, people. None. Nope. No battle at Blackwater. We got no spoils of war, battle of the bastards, battle at Castle Black, Hardhome, the Long Night. We don't even have a battle of the Whispering Woods, which I say battle of the Whispering Woods. It's literally Robb and crew dragging Jaime Lannister out of the woods in chains. We really didn't even see anything there. We don't even have that. Okay, there's no large battles here. This is a very intimate setting here at Ashford Meadows. Again, you're not going to go and see, again, the spoils of war is something that I think of, or the Long Night. Again, Battle of the Bastards. You're not going to have any large scale battles here. Way more smaller settings, smaller fights, smaller skirmishes, smaller scuffles, one-on-one kind of stuff, very intimate kind of stuff. Okay, again, remember the setting for this, and I'll talk about the setting in a little bit. The setting is at Attorney. Okay, so very much like the stuff that we see in the first episode of House of the Dragon, or King Robert's tourney there for Ned being appointed Hand of the King in the first season of Game of Thrones. That's where this takes place at. So naturally, it's not shocking. Hey, there's probably not going to be like 1,000 mounted knights come charging over the hill here, or anything that we get like the battle at Minas Tirith in Return of the King. We're not going to see anything crazy like that. Again, one-on-one kind of stuff, 2-on-2, smaller skirmishes and fighting here. This is one where I worry a little bit. Now, I'm not worried about it for myself, but I'm worried about it for the people that really love Game of Thrones and want the big, humongous battles, and the people that want to see the big, huge battle in House of Dragon. If you watch my House of the Dragon videos, you guys know how upset I was that we did not get the Battle of the Gullet there by the end of the second season. So yes, I was wanting the big battle there, but that's because it exists, and I know it exists, so I wanted to see it. I know there's not going to be big battles here. It doesn't affect me, but the people that haven't read the books, I wonder if they're going to watch these 6 episodes and say, all right, like, when are we going to hear like the war horn go off, right? When are we going to hear charge? When are we going to hear the spears clanking and the shields being thrusted up in the air? Like, when are we going to see that stuff? Like the blood curdling screams. You're really not going to get that here. Okay, so I do fear that some people that aren't aware of like the setting and the tone of this story, I do wonder if they're going to be shocked and they get to like 20 minutes left in episode 6 and they pause the episode and they're like, okay, so like, when's shit gonna happen? Like, there's 20 minutes left, and I know the last 10 minutes are gonna be them going behind the scenes and talking to everyone about what happened in the episode. Okay, because that's what I was doing there at the end of episode 8 of House of the Dragon in the second season. I do fear that those people might get lost. Like, this might be the one story set in this Game of Thrones universe that some people might tap out on. And again, that's perfectly fine. Like, if you want to see the big, heavy, crazy battles, and again, I love that stuff too. But again, I think that the Game of Thrones universe and Song of Ice and Fire can really show its chops by just how good they are with the writing and the dialogue and a conversation. Because we are going to get a lot of that here. Now, I got annoyed with that in House of the Dragon, but that's because, again, I know that there are bigger and greater things that happen there. I know what the outcome is of this. And the people that have read this, you guys know what the outcome is. Okay. So again, I'm fully ready to witness no large scale fighting. But I do fear for the people that aren't going to see this coming. All I would say is there are more small folk involved in this. Cause again, this is at Attorney. Think of it like the county fair, right? Kind of like that. Or you go to some like, Renaissance festival and see medieval joust. It's kind of going to be in a setting like that. So again, you have to understand the setting and the tone and know that, yeah, there's not going to be any like huge battles here or anything like that. But again, I think that's going to give Game of Thrones a chance to go back to their roots and just show how good they are at like character development, writing, and things of that nature. So I just wanted to talk about that. Okay, number 6. And it's that this season is actually 6 episodes. That's the thing I wanted to talk about here. Something to know, because again, you guys probably, if you watched my House of the Dragon videos, I complained a lot down the stretch about the second season being reduced to 8 episodes, where the first season was 10 episodes. And I thought that really crippled the second season down a stretch whenever it cut off right before like we really get that story moving there with a lot of cool battles and fights. Again, as the news came out in the weeks and maybe a month after the second season ended, it looks like that was more of a budget thing as opposed to like the showrunners deciding that, hey, you know what, let's stop at 8. Let's not really have a payoff here at the end of this second season. Let's just call quits and we'll see you in 2026. Am I mad that this is 6 episodes? Short answer, no. Okay. Longer answer is that this is a completely different story. Okay. I said before about how like it's more intimate, right? It's a story that doesn't involve any large scale battles, right? It takes place at a tourney. Okay. That's the whole thing. It's under like a way shorter amount of time. We're not seeing the crazy time jumps and morphing around the map like we see in House of the Dragon. This is literally taking place at a tourney at Ashford Meadow. Ashford is right here. If you see me moving my cursor, it's located in the Reach. Okay, it's just west of the Stormlands. It's north of the Dornish Marches here, and it is southwest from King's Landing. King's Landing's right there. Okay, it is literally a tourney there. All right, you're going to see people there jousting and involved in the melee and drunken fights and parading around the rolling hills. Right, Robert Baratheon would be just lapping this all up. This is Robert's calling right here. Again, there's no large scale fighting. Okay, so there doesn't need to be more than 6 episodes. I think 6 episodes is completely fine when you're taking out large scale fighting and battles. You're taking out all the different locations. You don't really need more than 6. Again, it's going to be more heavy on dialogue, heavy on character building, building up to big moments there towards the end of the first season. There's still a great moment that's going to be waiting at the end of this season here. Trust me, a great moment. It's going to be phenomenal. But again, 6 episodes is fine. I think any more than that, it's going to be really long-winded. You're going to get sick and tired of the constant dialogue with a lack of action and payoff, as I keep alluding to, the payoff. So again, 6 episodes is for a story like this, again, over a short period of time. This isn't taking place, the dance is 2 years, the Blackfire Rebellion's 1 year, the War of the Five Kings in Game of Thrones. I mean, how many years is that? 3, 4, 5, it's still ongoing, whatever. This is taking place over a short period of time. It's taking place at a tourney at a castle in the Reach. Okay. Again, this does not need to be long. Okay, I'd rather it be short and impactful than long and drawn out, 100%. Okay, so that's just the other thing I wanted to point out about the upcoming season for A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Okay, number 7, last one here, guys. Thank you for sticking with me. Just wanted to go over here some of the characters that we're going to see grace our screens, give a little context, a little background on them. Right here at the top, we've got Dunk and Egg. We spoke briefly about them at the beginning. If you're looking for the best review on them, George put in his October 10th blog post a glowing review about Peter Claffey and Dexter Saul-Anselwis. He went over to see the set, meet the cast, and he said it was like these two essentially just jumped out of the pages of his book. Okay, he said that they were that damn good. They represented those characters phenomenally. So big 2 thumbs up there and a green light from George, who we know is not afraid to speak his mind about what happens on these HBO adaptations of his work. Okay, George isn't afraid to let it rip, as we found out over the past couple months. So again, it looks like they're great. I'll take his word for it on there. I want to turn my attention right now to someone I'm incredibly excited to see adapted to the screen. I'm going to call this the Daemon Targaryen Hype Award for the person I'm the most pumped up to see adapted on the screen, just like I was for Daemon, right? Daemon's a badass, and every different short story novella that you read about him, I'm like, I cannot wait to see Daemon Targaryen on screen. Matt Smith's playing him. Great. Guess what? He's awesome, right? As expected, Matt Smith plays Daemon incredibly well. Okay. There is a character that I just cannot wait, that I will be keeping my eyeballs open for, and I'm sure it's not going to take too long to see him. All right. He sticks out like a sore thumb. All right. And that would be the man here in the middle of the screen, Aegon Targaryen. He is a complete savage. Now, where Daemon's a rogue, and Daemon, as quickly as he can disgrace himself in the Vale while going to have a casual chat with his wife, he can also just as quickly redeem himself. Aegon cannot redeem himself. He can only disgrace himself, embarrass himself, and completely piss down his leg. Okay, and we will see that man do that. But goddamn, I would be lying to you if I did not admit how excited I am to see him, because he is electric. Okay, when you talk about all of the dunces that we've seen through Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, the Joffreys, the Ramsays, the people that are just complete bona fide, certified blue ribbon assholes. Aegon is one of those, okay? And he is going to steal the show. We have Finn Bennett playing him, and I just saw him on True Detective Night Country. How about that? Another HBO actor going on to another HBO show. I've never seen that before. And I thought he was fine on there. He was kind of quiet, almost like very like melancholy again, but whatever. Different setting, different show. He will not be quiet on this show. I can promise you that. He's going to be very loud and he is going to piss people off, but God damn it, I can't wait to see it because that's the person that when you read the Hedge Knight, when you get to the end of it, you're like, who are the people that stood out to you the most? Aegon, and again, I'm not saying for good or worse, but just in general, who stood out? He stands out. Aegon is the older brother of Egg, and they are both the son right here. If we look at Sam Spruill playing Maekar Targaryen. Maekar is their dad. Okay, Maekar Targaryen. He's going to be another person that's going to be fun to see. He's described as being a very powerfully built man, very stoic, very quiet, lacking some affability, charisma that his older brother, Baelor, okay, as we see right here, Bertie Carvel, plays. Okay, so I maybe should have started there. Baelor Targaryen is the crown prince. Okay, that is Daeron the Good's eldest son. He is the Prince of Dragonstone. He will be inheriting the Iron Throne. Okay, so that's the eldest of his brood. Maekar is his fourth son, Daeron's fourth son. Okay, remember what I said before about Aegon being the fourth son of a fourth son. Okay, so Maekar. And again, Baelor, very affable, very charismatic, also a badass too. Described as being very tall, powerfully built, a very effective knight. Just the spitting image of what you expect a Targaryen king to be, right? He's essentially like if you're creating him on like a video game, right? And you want to make your character tall and powerful and strong. And you also want to give them like a super high charisma and speech level. Their charisma and speech is a 95 out of 100. They're also really strong and they're fast and they can just do everything. He is essentially that. Okay, Maekar, very similar physical attribute, maybe described as being like more like stout and like strong, but also very tall, powerful, a very, very badass soldier. He does not have the affability and charisma that his older brother has. Okay, he does not make friends as fast as his older brother does. I would say describe him as kind of like, and maybe even this family dynamic a little bit, the Baratheon brothers, where Baelor is similar to Robert without all like the drinking and the whoring and, the getting obese and all of that after you win the thing that you sought out to win, getting very complacent. Can't see Baelor doing that. But again, in regards to their personality, very similar. Maekar is very similar to Stannis. Stoic, again, strong, capable, powerful, but they just lack that personality trait that just wins people easily to their side. They make friends easily. When they defeat an enemy, they can also then at the same time bring them up. And you know what I mean? And basically kind of like, I don't want to say coerce them, but basically by lifting them up after defeating them, that person now falls in line and they don't think about stepping out of line again, right? Robert had the ability to do that. Baelor, I can see Baelor having the ability to do that. Again, Maekar is kind of like Stannis, and that's just the way it is. Again, Stannis, like look at Stannis, like no one wanted Stan. What's Renly say? No one wants you to be their king, Stannis. Like they're kind of similar. We go down here. Lionel Baratheon is going to be a very fun character. The Laughing Storm, that's a badass nickname there. We'll get to see again. You're going to see the similar names. You're going to see the Baratheons. You're going to see Targaryens. You're going to see Tullys. You're going to see all of those like familiar Westerosi surnames that we're all very accustomed to seeing. They're not on the screen. I think they're on a set. I saw them, like the people that were cast, but like the Fossaways. That's going to be like another fun kind of like Blackwood Bracken type of, like a little scuffle there, some rivalry there. You're going to see the Fossaways they're a family from the Reach. You're going to see them in the show. You're going to see a Dondarrion in the show. If you remember Beric Dondarrion from Game of Thrones, he's a lord from the part of the Stormlands that are just above the Dornish Marches. So you're going to see a lot of fun characters here. Ton of Targaryens and Targaryens that all have all kinds of personality traits. But these are the big ones right here. I'm excited. Again, most excited to see Aegon. Baelor is going to be very cool to see how he's represented. Maekar will be very exciting as well. And there's going to be a bunch of other people too that we're going to see, right? Feuds, rivalries, rivalries that have lasted a long time, and then ones that are maybe be like more recently formed. So I just wanted to point those ones out to you. All right, guys, that's all I got for you here on this one. Those are just 7 things that I thought were worth mentioning, providing some context clarity too. I know some of them had some subplots, but just things mainly surrounding characters and A Song of Ice and Fire timeline stuff that, again, they'll probably explain it in the show, but in case they don't, just to give you guys a little extra something there. So, hey, drop me a comment. Send me a raven. Let me know what you guys think. Who are you the most excited to see adapted here into the show? Let me know in the comments. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Apparently that's how YouTube recommends this stuff. Look, you guys have been awesome here throughout House of the Dragon, and I'm just pumped up to see what we get here on A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So, hey, let me know too in the comments. Is there a video you want me to make on any other type, any character conflict, battle, house history explanation throughout the annals of A Song of Ice and Fire? Drop me a comment there too. Let me know. I hope you guys are thriving in every single element of your life. Enjoy your weekend. Talk to you later.